Well, good morning. I'm so glad to have you on this morning. Our thought in doing this interview today was just to share a story of hope. Well, two stories of hope with you about multiple sclerosis, and that it doesn't have to be a lifelong debilitating disease process. And so, welcome. Would you like to tell everyone your name and where you're from and what do you do in the health and wellness world?
Okay, so I'm Andrea. I just turned 47 on Monday, and I live in Cheshire in the UK, which is in between Liverpool and Manchester.
Excellent.
And I became a certified health coach the end of last year. So yeah, there was a life change maybe about 3 years ago, and then got lost a little bit, but I'm sure we'll get into all that. And then I decided, no, this is definitely what I want to do. And so I help people with chronic illness, chronic fatigue, and help them get back to feeling vital again.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So what disease do you have and when were you diagnosed?
Okay, so I've got multiple sclerosis. Also some along the way over the years, some hormonal imbalances and chronic fatigue. And I was diagnosed in 1995.
Wow.
I was 21.
Oh, so you've known that you've had this for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How did that feel when you got diagnosed, when that news came?
Well, my story, my initial story is quite a dramatic one. So I have never had symptoms before, ever. I have no idea where it came from. I have no insight to it at all. I was just leading a student lifestyle, which isn't the healthiest, but certainly wasn't the worst either. And I started with symptoms in the March, and then I was hospitalized, paralyzed, blind, incontinent by the middle of April.
Oh. Oh my
So it's
word.
quite dramatic. Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I could only move my head. That was it. I was blind and incontinent, and obviously in hospital for quite a long time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So that was totally life-changing.
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Totally life-changing. Yeah.
And not in a good way. Holy mackerel.
Well, it's really hard to remember, isn't it? Because, anyone in their 40s are not the same person they were in their 20s anyway, no matter what they've been through. So when I talk about that time, it is it's sort of not part of me. It's because it's a lifetime ago. It's before children, before marriage, before career. So it sort of is a little bit, I'm sort of disconnected from it a little bit.
Yeah. So tell me, how long did those symptoms continue?
I was in hospital for about 4 months, and then there was rehabilitation for maybe another year or two. But I think my doctor said I had to be able to walk down some steps before I was allowed out of the hospital, which I obviously was able to do because he released me. But I had, occupational therapy and physio and all those continuing for the next few years.
Yeah. Oh, wow. So what was your expectation when you got that diagnosis? Did you expect to be able to get better?
At the time, I just wanted a diagnosis because they were skirting around it a little bit. I think I was 21. They probably didn't want to say. I've learned since that they didn't want to because it can be, because it was such a severe attack, it can be something else, like a one-off type thing. So they didn't actually want to diagnose me. So I can see now why they put it off I had the MRI, had lumbar punctures. So when they told me, I was just quite relieved. There was a name to it.
Exactly.
And then because I sort of the steroids and the support and everything, nobody once ever said to me I'd never walk again. Nobody once ever said to me I wouldn't get better again. So there was no reason for me to think that was ever going to be the case. So I just got on with hospital life.
Excellent.
Which was interesting.
Yeah, to be sure. All right.
And that was it, really. That was and then the steroids sort of kicked in. I remember my school teacher came to see me, and I was probably about 6-8 weeks into my treatment, and I could wiggle my little toe or my big toe, and I was going, look, I can wiggle my big toe. And she told me afterwards, she says, I cried because all you could do was wiggle your big toe. And I went, yeah, but I could wiggle my big toe.
Exactly.
So it's just perspective, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is.
So, and then I sort of got better and better daily, and then I left hospital, and that's when it all went wrong, because even though I had the support structure with physio and occupational, but you become so used to that routine in a hospital, and you're institutionalized and you're safe, and then you're put out into this big wide world as a 22-year-old by then. And I was due to graduate university. I obviously couldn't because I was not well enough. And I was due to start a career, and I was due to leave the city I was studying and move to a new city. And so everything was turned on its head. And you're sort of just left then, because the physical side is slowly improving, but mentally it's like, well, what do I do with this? How do I cope with this? So that was really hard, really, really hard.
What did you do with that?
I think I just pretended it wasn't there as much as I could. I was determined that I was going to move in with my boyfriend, who is now my husband, and just get on with my life. But obviously what I didn't know then was that I couldn't understand why I needed to go to bed all the time, and why I was so tired, and why I couldn't do the things that normal 20-year-olds could do. And it was so frustrating, and my career wasn't, I couldn't have the career I wanted because I didn't know how my health would be. And that took a long time to, and I was just left to it, really. Yeah, there was no support. I think there's better support now than then, maybe. But then it was just about getting over the physical disabilities and then get on with your life.
Right. Yeah. I love what you just explained about the whole mindset, what happens in your mind, and the uncertainty of, can I trust my body? Can I trust what's happening? And when is the next shoe going to drop? When is the next thing going to go sideways?
Absolutely. That's all I was thinking about. When's the next? Yeah. Really, really tough. Really tough.
Right. So what is your experience now? What are your symptoms like now?
So my next episode then didn't happen for 7 years. And then my second episode was when the neurologist said, right, now I would have diagnosed you with MS, because that was on my right side. So my symptoms seemed to go in officially. I've officially had 4 attacks, 5 attacks, 5. And they seem to be getting less and less each one. So first one was completely debilitating. Second one was my whole right side. Third, again, was blind again. Fourth was below my waist. and the fifth below my knees. After each one, I'm left with little symptoms. And depending on what I've learned over the years is, depending on how I'm looking after myself during that time, depends on how active those symptoms are, or how in the background they are. So I've sort of learnt just from trial and error, and, you know, sticking two fingers up at it and drinking and eating all the wrong things, but then it's only me that suffers. Or, you know, when the babies came along, just so tired. You're so tired anyway, aren't you? But absolutely exhausted. And so I just seemed to have this. That was it. I would go through long periods of feeling really fit and healthy, and then it could be shoved into the back of my mind, and then periods when it would come to the forefront, and it would either be it wouldn't be an official attack, an official relapse. It would be like chronic fatigue, and I would have to be signed off work for weeks on end to recover, because I hadn't listened to my body. And my body had decided to say, no, this isn't carrying on.
Right?
No, I'm going to put you to bed for a few weeks so you learn.
Exactly.
And then 3 years ago, I decided, right, enough's enough now. I need to find this. I can't keep doing this. It's it's exhausting.
Yeah.
So then I found, at the time, again, it's another big life change. So at the time, 3 years ago, I took redundancy from work, and my mother-in-law was in the final stages of her cancer. So I thought I could take some time to look after her.
Right.
And then after seeing what cancer patients go through, and then having another attack because I was too busy caring for her and my family and didn't care for myself, and had another attack, I just thought, right, time to just, 46 years old, let's just get your life in order and let the next half of my life be
good,
as much as I possibly can, be balanced.
I love that.
And so I educated myself and learned, and the health coaching course taught me. And well, actually, do you know what it taught me? It taught me that what I was doing was right. I just wasn't doing it consistently.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
so I was listening to my body. Yeah. I was listening to my body, but then other times I wasn't, and I don't know why, but I am now.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. So we live a full and happy life. I run, I exercise, I eat, I work, I've trained with my son. My son's 16 and he's training with weights, so I did some weights with my son this morning. Just a full, happy, full life. Yeah.
Love it. So what is one thing that you would tell someone who might be suffering with MS and is wondering if there's any way to be well?
To learn, they need to learn to trust themselves, nobody else. They are the biggest and best person to know how their body works. No doctor, no nutritionist, no health coach, them.
I love that.
And that's hard. That's really hard.
It is hard.
When you've got this coming at you from every direction.
Yep. I love that. I love that. Is there anything else that you would like to share with everyone?
That you're stronger than you think. You know more than you think. And the power's all there. You've got all the power.
I love that.
Just got to get it out.
I love that. So are you actively working as a health coach? How can people get in touch with you?
I'm active, yes. I Andrea Thomas Coaching, www.andreahealthcoaching.com. I just started, and then coronavirus hit. So,
oh dear. Right.
so I'm using this opportunity to sort of set the foundations. I have worked with some clients. I've worked with a client who was just newly diagnosed with MS.
Mm-hmm.
So that was more about her transitioning and the grieving process, really.
Yeah.
She was a high-class gymnast, so she
Oh,
had,
wow.
I
That's
know,
tough.
yeah.
That's really tough.
But yeah, it is really. And I've worked with clients with all sorts of different things. But yeah, she's got a special place in my heart. She has.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Andrea. Thank you for sharing your contact information. And I will stop the recording, and I have a couple questions for you after. But thank you
Okay.
so much.
Pleasure. Thank you, Melissa.
Okay, wonderful.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a fun
Thanks,
day.
Melissa. Yeah,
You
enjoy
bet.
the snow.
Yeah, thanks. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.